Hello, friends, and welcome back to Mastering Course Management. Today, we're going to be talking about routines. And before we get into the type of routines that you want in your golf game and how these are going to be beneficial and what a good routine looks like, we're going to talk about why routines are so important. So, routines goes into kind of the mental side of your golf game, and the routines are kind of the cornerstone for your mental process and how your golf game reacts to certain things in your environment. So, if you have the same practice routine, the same pre-shot routine, the same post-shot routine every single time that you go through your swing and go through a round of golf, your brain kind of has these mental benchmarks where it's like, okay, so we're starting the swing here, we practice this, we're going to do this. You have kind of a certain mental process you go through, and you execute shots with a lot better consistency. Whereas if you just tee up a golf ball and you don't really have a routine and you don't really have anything to kind of mark the start and end of a golf swing and one of those mental reps, everything kind of starts to blend together. You don't really have that differentiation in your brain as to, okay, this is what we practice, this is what we're going to try to do. Everything kind of bleeds together, leads to a little less consistency, and over time, this will result in you losing strokes on your opponents or just on the course itself. So first up, we have the most common routine in your golf game, and that's going to be the pre-shot routine. Now, most, if not all, golfers kind of have a sense of a pre-shot routine, something that they do before they hit their golf shot. But whether this is good or bad or helping or hurting, we have yet to find out. So your pre-shot routine is going to be kind of where you gather all the information for your shot. This is where you get the yardage that you're going to play, you make a club selection, you test the wind, you look at the slope, you look at all the different outside factors that are going to go into this golf shot, and this is where you plan out your shot. Now, this can also involve your practice swings and everything up to the point where you get up to the golf ball to address. So this part of your routine is going to be all about thinking, planning, kind of visualizing what you want to do, and then we're going to go into execution when we actually get up to the golf ball. Okay, so now that we have gathered all our information, we've picked our club, we know what kind of shot we're going to hit, now we get into the execution. This is going to be the quickest and the least involved mentally out of the parts of the routine we're going to go through. So with execution, we're simply getting over the golf ball and pulling the trigger and just hitting the shot. So while in the pre-shot routine, we have all this thinking, all this different stuff going on, the routine's going to take a different amount of time based on kind of how long you're thinking over the shot and stuff like that. Execution is going to be ideally the same amount of time every time. That's going to be just standing over the golf ball and swinging. That's all we got to do, and that's all you need it to be. So now that we have hit the shot, now it's time for the post-shot routine. And this is what a lot of golfers kind of gloss over. So the post-shot routine is going to be where you analyze what happened. You're going to take in all the feedback from the shot, and you are going to use that and apply it to the future of your golf round. So if I am hitting a tee shot on the first hole, I have my pre-shot routine where I pick my target, I pick my club, I kind of take in all the external factors I need to take in. I execute, I hit the shot, and then I watch what happens. So in my post-shot routine, I'm looking at the way the ball curves, I'm looking at how far the ball flies, I'm looking at where it finishes up in relation to my target, and I'm going to use all that and kind of piece together what happened in that golf shot and what I can use with that golf shot for my future shots and what I might want to steer away from for future shots. So if I hit a little heel slice off the first tee, I know, right now my tendency is hitting it off the heel. I've only hit one shot, but it's off the heel. So I might need to adjust in a couple holes if I continue to hit balls off the heel, but that's just something I want to keep in the back of my head when I go to play my next shot. And now, while a lot of golfers are very good at analyzing what happened in their full swing, a lot falls short when it comes to short game and putting. So when we get around the green, it's very important that we continue to have this whole routine planned out. A lot of golfers will do the pre-shot routine for every shot in the bag. With putting, it might change to reading the putt opposed to, getting the wind and the distance. But a lot of golfers everywhere from tee to green are very good about the pre-shot routine. Execution is pretty good. A lot of golfers have their set habits that kind of fall into how they execute when they stand over a golf shot and actually swing the club. And then post shot is where it kind of gets a little fuzzy. So around the greens, post shot, a lot of golfers, they don't really take into account kind of what happened with their putt or what happened with their chip. They kind of just write it off, go to the next shot. Whereas this post shot routine is where I see a lot of golfers pick up the most strokes on their game. This is where I see a lot of golfers who hit a bad chip that either do make the right adjustment and do change something with low point control or with their tempo or something, or they don't make the adjustment. They say, oh, I chunked that one, and they go to the next one, they chunk another one, or they blade another one over the green. This is the part of your game where you can really make those changes mid-round and where you can really see those adjustments and see those improvements in your golf game. So now the most underrated post-shot routine is your putting post-shot routine. A lot of people either don't have one, don't use it correctly, or they have a poor idea of what they're doing. So with the post-shot routine, with putting, a lot of golfers kind of know, did I read the putt correctly directionally, left and right? Did I hit it too hard? Did I hit it too soft? A lot of golfers fail to make the correct adjustments as they go through the round with that information they gather. And with that, there's really no point in even doing it. So if you are analyzing and you see that you've hit 5 putts and all 5 of them have finished 3 feet past the hole or further, that's when you know that maybe your speed control is a little off. Maybe you didn't, take as many putts on the practice green as you wanted to. This is where we adjust. This is where we know, okay, the greens are rolling a little faster than I thought. Let me adjust. Let me hit it softer. Very easy to think about in practice, but oftentimes when you get on the course, there's just so much going on that a lot of golfers just gloss over this. So putting and having this post-shot feedback analysis kind of routine with your putting is going to be a huge indicator of how you putt on the greens and how you adjust and score better throughout your round. Now, the biggest way that I see good golfers who do this differentiate themselves from golfers who struggle with this is the way they do this in practice as well as on the course. So a lot of golfers, they will go to the range, they'll go to the putting green, they will have drills in mind, they'll have different practice routines, and that's all good and everything. But how you translate your practice into your game is how you really improve at golf. So a lot of golfers, they'll go to the range, they'll hit a bucket of balls, they'll roll some putts, and generally they have a good swing, they have a good putting stroke, a good chipping motion, whatever it may be, but they fail to do these routines and imitate how their golf game is going to translate onto the golf course. So a lot of golfers will just sit there, rake a ball over, hit it, rake another one over, hit it, and maybe they're hitting it really well. Maybe they're picking a target even. But if you are not going through this routine every time, you don't know how that is going to translate to your actual golf game on the course. So the best advice that I can give for anyone who's taking their practice seriously and wants to get better at golf, go through this routine every time. Establish a routine and stick to it on the range and on the course. If you're going out hitting a bucket of balls, pick a target, get the wind, figure out the distance, pick out your club, take your practice swing, go up, execute, hit, look at the shot, see what happened, and adjust from there. If you do this on every shot on the range, if you do this on every chip, every putt, when you're practicing, it's going to be habit when you get on the course, and the golf game is just going to go so much smoother, so much easier, and you are going to have these reps doing this on the range, doing this on the practice green, wherever it may be, where when you get on the course, it's just going to feel natural and everything is going to flow so much smoother. And so the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is this kind of graph of where our mental activity should be during this routine. So as you know, golf takes a long time. If we're thinking about every single shot before and after the entire round of golf, we're going to get a massive headache. We are not going to be sticking through a round of golf the entire time. We're going to be just so drained by the end of our round. So in order to keep our mind fresh, in order to keep ourselves mentally engaged in the right times, we're going to really look at where our mind should be at different parts in this routine. So obviously pre-shot routine, when we're doing all our planning, we have to be thinking about our golf shot then. We're thinking about kind of the shot we want to play, the club we want to use, all that kind of stuff. All great things to think about before our shot. When we get to the execution part, this is where we try to turn our brains off. This is where we just step over the golf ball and we just see the ball, we hit the ball. Now we're not going to forget about our pre-shot stuff here. We're still going to have that idea in the back of our head, but when we're taking our practice swings and when we are thinking about everything in this pre-shot, we're trying to just associate this feeling of this practice swing with the goals we want to accomplish in the pre-shot routine. So if I'm hitting a 40-yard chip and I'm in my pre-shot routine, I know where I want to land the ball, I know kind of what kind of swing I want to use, and I'm visualizing where the shot's going to land, where it's going to roll out to. I'm doing all this in my practice swing, and I'm affiliating my thought for my plan for how this shot's going to go with my actual swing. So then I step over the golf ball, and my actual swing just has only the feeling. We're going to turn the brain off. We're just going to use that feeling that we just practiced in the practice swing in our execution there. Then we're going to go to post shot. This is just where we're just looking at the result. We do have to think about kind of what kind of shot we hit. We're going to take in as much information as possible, and then we're going to transition to our next shot. So this can be, walking down the fairway to get to our ball. This can be walking up to the green. Whatever we're doing in the transition, we're going to bank this information. We're going to put it away, and we're not really going to worry about it right now, but we're going to keep that in the back of our head for whenever we have our next shot that we have to plan that falls in that information that we can use to benefit us for our next shot. So transition is going to be very important as we go through our round of golf, just to take your mind off the golf, take your mind off the shots. If we just continuously think about worrying about our shot, kind of, what our tendencies are, kind of what shot we're playing today, all that, we're going to wear ourselves out so quickly. So in the transition, what I like to do is if I'm playing with some buddies, I'll ask them how their day's going. I'm going to be like, hey, did you guys see the football game last night? Hey, what did you guys do for dinner? Like, I'm just asking them questions, making conversation, just be just be elsewhere. Keep your mind elsewhere other than on your golf game. It can be anything. You can zone out, you can do whatever. But then when we get back to our next shot and our pre-shot routine, we got to lock back in. We got to engage the mind again. And so a lot of this round of golf is going to be engaging and disengaging the mind. We're both thinking about stuff with our golf game and then letting go of those thoughts, just letting it pass, just relaxing, enjoying our time out on the golf course, and then lock back in when you need to. So that's our big thing with our routines is mentally, we need to make sure that we are thinking about our golf game in the right times, being mentally engaged, and then knowing when it's okay to just let go, just relax, and just worry about the next shot when it comes up. So that's about all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. Try this out the next time you go out to practice, the next time you go out to play. Let me know what you think, and as always, let's play for par.